Welcome all to the Snail Trail 4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun at Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how fantastic other issues are.
Like, where do you going with this?
I had a bunch of options go through my head just now, and I was like,
sure you did.
I don't know if I could say any of those right now. This is obviously the podcast for everybody out there. Man, welcome to another episode of Snail Trail 4x4 with my good buddy, Mr. Jimmy Jet Black. How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Nice.
I'm happy that it's been 373 episodes with you, and you finally are stumped on the intro.
Finally, I ran out after 372.
Well, you didn't even do 372 or 371.
That's true. I didn't. I got to skip out on them.
Yeah. So 370. You had 370 ideas, and then he lost it.
I did. I drew a blank.
So your homework over the weekend is to figure out something for the intro for Monday.
Do you want me to say what I was going to say on the intro?
No,
you don't want me to say?
I don't want to hear it. Okay. I'm sure everybody, I think our rating will go from E to X probably.
Man. Anyways, how are you doing, baby?
I'm good.
Things you're making me cough. I still got hammer lung.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. We'll discuss a lot of King of the Hammers updates and info on Monday's episode.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of things in this episode that we need to catch up on.
We do indeed.
For the month that we've been running around like crazy people.
Yeah, it's February is a fun month this month. So
it is. Yeah. Happy few days after Valentine's Day to everybody out there. If you had a Valentine, I hope you had a good time.
I had a good time with my Valentine.
Me too.
Did you really? What'd you guys do?
I hope so. So we're recording this on Valentine's Day, but I'm making dinner tonight. We're having pizza.
Okay.
I went to Trader Joe's and got some of their pizza dough because they have really good pizza dough.
Yeah.
And then a bunch of different toppings. And since the assistant is a vegetarian, I went and bought a bunch of vegetarian, like pepperoni or sausage and all these fake meats.
That's what is it called? Not a dichotomy. It's a vegetarian pepperoni.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
No,
to
it
me.
doesn't at all. So I'm really kind of curious if she's going to be interested in it or if she's just going to put vegetables on her pizza. But I'm like, I wanted to buy like some sausages or something, but I would be the only one that eats them. And it would just, you get them in like a 4 or 5 pack. And I don't know when the next time I want to put another sausage in my mouth after that,
Okay.
I left that door open on purpose. You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So anyways, let's see. We got a bunch of updates to do. We've got FNGs. We've got birthdays. We've got winners. We've got some reviews.
Yeah.
We've got all kinds of things. And then we're going to cover some things that I've been up to in the last week, since we're talking about what Tyler's been up to in the last week. We're on Monday's episode. We also have a very important update to the Rubicon saga that's been going on.
We do. Yep.
We did do the quick little break to let people know that the Rubicon is back open, but we have some more information regarding that, but not a whole episode's worth. So we've got a lot of other stuff going on as well in this episode. So I hope you guys are along for the ride or are going to enjoy this ride. And where shall we start?
Let's start with FNGs and birthdays, okay. FNGs, the giveaway, all that good stuff.
Yeah, they've been waiting long enough.
Yeah. So let's start with birthdays, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So 1 year birthdays with Snail Trail 4x4 supporters. We have Nick Collins.
Nick, thank you very much.
And Mr. Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. It's only 1 year.
Only 1 year. He's been supporting us longer emotionally.
Yeah.
But monetarily, true. He's just 1 year.
If that's true, if that's not true, let us know.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Because he was waiting for us to do the annual thing.
That's true.
Yeah. I still have not gone up and gotten our alcoholic support from him.
Well, I might be passing by.
Oh, really?
So
it's all under snow right now, though.
Oh, that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought you meant his house.
Over at his place. Gotcha. No, yeah, the one that kicked off the whole treasure hunt, the token hunt that we started.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yep. Well, 3 years later, maybe we'll get it.
Right. We'll see. All right. So 2-year birthdays. We have Dave Kurek.
Thanks, Dave.
Ed Snyder.
Ed, appreciate it.
And none other than Samurai James.
Samurai James.
Mm-hmm.
He told me some information. I don't think I'm allowed to throw it out into the world, but congratulations.
Did he?
I don't know. Did he what?
Did he? Blah, 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 blah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I broke my mic. Hold on. Did he?
I don't know.
Did he? Come on.
I can't talk. You ask him.
All right, I'll ask him. And because he is telling you secrets before he tells me secrets, my second favorite James is Mr. James Claiborne. For 3 year, 3-year birthdays.
Thanks, James.
So that's 3-year birthdays,
but
man.
that's not, is James Dooley up there? Isn't he first James, second James, technically?
James. Who is the first James signed up here? James Dooley is the first James on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like James Claiborne.
Okay.
Because he has a ham radio call sign license plate.
Oh, so, got it.
Yeah.
Well, Dooley, you need to get on that, and then you'll become the
second number 2 James.
Yeah, number 2 James.
Yep. And then that'll knock Samurai James down to like number 4 or 5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Asshole. Better tell me what's going on over there, man. So cool. Those are birthdays.
Awesome. FNGs.
We have like 3 months here before we start getting 4 years.
I know. That's exciting.
That's crazy. FNGs from January. So these are the fun new gals from January. We got Steven oh shit.
You messed it up.
Caviazel.
That was it.
Perfect.
You nailed it.
Thank you, Mr. Caviazel.
Thank you, Steven. I'm just going to do that one.
Man. Second one is Reese Love.
Thank you, Mr. Love.
And Johnny.
Valentine's Day.
I know. Isn't that like a fun coinky dink? Mm-hmm. And Johnny Fresky.
Johnny Fresky.
Yeah. Which both you and I thought that he was.
Yeah, I thought you were on here before. I thought maybe you've come and gone. I don't know, but you're just back again, whatever it is. Thank you very much.
Yep. Johnny Fresky, one of the last FNG, the fun new gal for January here.
Shall we do an update in regards to multiple subscriptions right now?
Yeah, I think that's a good time to put it. Yeah, good place here.
So going through this list, we go through it every month, to eliminate some of the people that are not signed up anymore. Get rid of the people that are on the $5 tier because you guys aren't entered into the giveaway, and just organize our lives to some extent. We've noticed in the last few months that there are a few people that have multiple subscriptions. There's a few people that have multiple $5 subscriptions. There's a few people that have multiple $10 subscriptions. There's one person that has a $20 and a $10 subscription. And we've reached out to you guys, and some of you have responded, but I think the reminder here is if you sign up or change tiers, it's on you to cancel your other subscriptions.
Correct. Yep.
We can't do it for you. The software doesn't do it for you. It's all through PayPal. So you need to go into PayPal, go find the subscription and cancel it.
Yeah, there should be a section under PayPal that says manage your subscriptions somewhere. And that's where you would cancel the ones that you don't want anymore when you either change tiers or bump up or do whatever you're doing, bump down, whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So
and I'm mainly looking at you, Steven. Who signed up 4 times for the STI giveaway.
Yeah.
And we entered you 4 times, but I'm looking at you because I'm hoping you aren't entered 4 times. I'm hoping you're entered permanently. I hope you're entered once from now on. I don't want you to get hit with $30 extra every single month.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we reached out to, I think at some point we've reached out to everybody that is doubled up at some point. And we just wanted to let you guys know that that's happening. We're seeing it and we're letting you guys know, but we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
We can't cancel it for you.
Yeah. And then the other ones on here are, so we've gone through a year of having the annual subscription available on Patreon. And so it looks like there was a few people that set up the annual payment on Patreon as a one-time payment rather than recurring. So you had your annual subscription through 2022 and you are now
eliminated.
You're kicked off. You're out of here.
You're done.
And since we have Patreon all closed up right now, you can't get back on Patreon. So you're going to have to come over to Irate 4x4 and sign up if you want to continue getting some of the perks that we offer. And so that is for Alan Sharon, Jake Gallo, and Jamie Mishkinig.
Yeah.
And Jake, we'll have to see because we got a bunch of almonds from you. We may give you a pass. I'll talk with Jimmy about that.
Okay. But yeah. And that's really, I don't know if that's an option, reoccurring annual payments, but I don't know if it lets you know that your 1 year subscription is coming up.
Yeah.
So we're really letting you guys know right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll send you guys an email as well. I don't think we've done that yet, but yeah, the annual subscriptions, it doesn't reoccur to our knowledge. So unfortunately right at this current point in time, you are not entered because your annual subscription is over.
Yep. So double check that and get that set up however you guys need to. If you want to get set up again on one of the tiers, you got to head over to irate4x4.com and sign up for one of the tiers that are available there.
Yes.
So I don't believe anybody that we've called so far has been on the gift box tier. So that's a good thing, because if that one drops mid in between gift boxes, it becomes a whole fiasco to try and get everything straight away for that. So you're all good. You guys are all good. It's no pressure, nothing like that. I'm just giving you guys an update and informing you of what's going on there. So
yeah, you're just missing off on winning some cool items.
Like some STIs. Who needs an MF and STI? Who wants one? Huh?
I do. I still want one. I don't know why you haven't given me one yet. I will pay for it.
I'm waiting for a 2nd gen 4Runner panel.
Soon.
Okay.
Soon. Coming soon. I've ordered the aluminum.
Oh, nice. Sweet. I'm excited for those. So I'm waiting.
I've been told that I'm cutting so many panels that he needs to order more gas to run the laser. And there's a lag in available gas, apparently.
Oh, really?
And so he asked me, what panels do you need done immediately? And I said, well, the ones I'm selling.
Yeah. Yep.
And the ones that I'm ordering new can take a quick pause.
Yeah.
Which, the people have been on hold for a year or so. What's another few weeks?
That's funny. So cool. Well, that's good. That's good that you're pushing their production limits.
Yeah.
That's fun to hear.
Fingers crossed. And it'd be I would be very shocked, but I'm hoping release at the end of the month.
Nice. At the end of February?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm fingers crossed hoping so.
That's exciting. Cool.
A lot of ducks need to get in a row or whatever that saying is.
Yep.
A lot of balls in the yard.
I was just going to go there. Oh my God. What was that? Throw a cat at or what? What was that?
Swing a cat.
Swinging a cat.
Swinging a dead cat.
Swinging a dead cat at balls in the yard.
Yeah,
I don't know, whatever that was.
I don't know, whatever it is. A lot of things need to get in line and get figured out. But I think all that's figured out. I just few things need to come in and then I'll be ready to go.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's cool to hear. So for a couple STIs, single tire inflators, we have 2 winners.
Yes, we do.
From January, and they are Mr. Kirk Payne and where's the other one here? Wesley Vieira.
Yeah. Congratulations, guys. You will get in contact. Did you already send them emails?
I did send them emails.
All right, you got an email confirming your addresses or whether those are going to be shipped out. So respond. Let us know that those are the correct addresses. Or Kurt didn't have an address, right?
Kurt didn't have an address at all.
Tell us your address.
Yep.
I don't know how you got in without getting an address, but let us know if where to send them and we will get those out to you. And by we, I mean Tyler and his team.
And another update, the gift boxes, the Christmas presents from December.
Yes.
Have not been shipped out yet.
Nope.
They didn't get shipped out before Hammers. Sorry.
Will they be shipped out this Friday?
They will be shipped out before Friday. We have everything here now. Everything's here in one place to get shipped out. We just need to make labels, put them on boxes and send them out. So
mine's even packaged.
Wow. Look at you being all friggin' overachiever.
And I don't have it with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I tallied mine.
Oh, Like for pricing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know what I priced.
Mine's almost $200.
Really?
So I'm going to win.
No way.
Just because of that monetary value.
I don't know how much mine is.
And I didn't, like, if you include $1 a sticker, mine's probably at least 300.
300. You have a separate box just for all the stickers.
Almost. I have a whole section.
That's funny.
It like wraps around the inside of the box to add more padding.
Perfect.
There's so many stickers. I threw in so many stickers, Brandon.
Oh, man.
I hope you like stickers.
Oh, that gives me an idea of something I can do. Hopefully before I take the laser down to send it over to the other warehouse. But anyways,
sounds fun.
So the Christmas presents, they're going out this week for certain. So Nolan and Brandon, keep an eye out. They're coming to you.
Sounds good.
Let's see. What else do we have? We did FNGs. We did birthdays. We did the January giveaway.
We have 500 reviews coming up here soon.
We do. That's true.
And for the 500th review, we are giving away a winch. We've had, let's see, we're up above 450. Tyler will tell us here in a second how many we're at. We're still waiting for Redrockethotpocket to get back to us and let us know who that guy is. Mm-hmm. And that we'll send him out a swag pack and 6-string trucker. Was 6-string trucker 350?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think
Petty was 400, I think.
I have it in the show notes. Yeah. It's written in the show notes. So yeah, 6-string trucker and Redrockethotpocket. We're still waiting for you guys to get back to us. And I forgot now what we had said about episode 500, but I think we're doing a runner up because some people aren't getting back to us.
Yeah.
Do you know how many reviews we're at?
We're at 459. 459.
Awesome. So pretty much 40 reviews to go.
Mm-hmm. It's 41 not letting reviews. Me pull up the reviews though. I don't know what it's doing now.
Neither do I, because you have the laptop.
Yep. 459.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. All right. 41 more reviews until we hit 500. So if you have not put in a review yet, do it. Get yourself entered for this winch that we're giving away. If you have done it, figure out a way to do another one.
Yeah. Yep. Because you can get in multiple ones.
You can. I'm not telling you how, but you can.
You can definitely do that.
I think Redrockethotpocket did it.
You think so?
I think so.
Nice. So we have a couple of, a few. We're going to get through like 3 or 4 here today. So
sounds good. I know we stopped on a fun. You said, well, we're going to read this one. And then I think you stopped and you're like, no, let's read it later.
Yeah. So there was a couple of fun ones coming up here.
Okay.
So this one is from Rock Ranger.
Oh, Lenny
LePage.
Nice. Did you see him down at King of Hammers?
He was everywhere.
I'm sure he was.
He was running a bunch of the recoveries during all the race days.
Good for him.
And then so he was putting in a lot of time. Him and Tom both did a lot down there. So nice. I got to hang out with Lenny pretty much all week. It was fun.
Sweet. He's a good guy.
He is a really good dude. He says, off-roading, thank you for another great year of podcasting. Hope to see you both at Hammers and hitting some trails with you both. Keep up the good work. Lenny, Rock Ranger.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Lenny. Mm-hmm. Sorry I missed you, buddy.
Yeah. This next one is from another person we know. I think he was trying to get made onto a t-shirt.
Oh.
It says, one of a kind podcast for Toyotas and 4-wheel drives. Best Toyota podcast. Made Man 25.
Made Man?
Uh-huh.
Ah. From a Jeep owner.
I know.
Wow.
That's
Best
funny,
Toyota
right?
podcast.
He's talking about sassing his Tacoma now.
He should.
And selling the Gladiator.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Right. I'm like, I don't care if I see that happening.
Yeah. If you do, can I have the GFC?
Right. Okay, let's pull all the parts off of that. Give me the axles.
If you parted that vehicle out, you'd make more money than just selling it.
It's true. A funny story about him. While we were down at Hammers, he got to do a photo shoot with Nitto.
Oh,
because he runs the Nitto Trail Grapplers on the Gladiator. And apparently the beer cans I shoved in his suspension brackets on the Rubicon were still in there. And so the photographer caught him on
hilarious.
Camera. He caught him on camera and he's like, wait a minute. What are those?
Did they have to try to pull him out?
I don't know. He never said it. I think he left him in there.
I'd Photoshop him out. It'd be easier.
Yeah. Oh, man. So anyways, thanks, Nick, for the review.
Thanks, buddy.
Next one is from JLUR. It says, simply the best beat Toyota off-road podcast in the world.
Beat.
Nice. Beat Toyota Off-Road Podcast.
Does that mean we're red?
Beat Red? No, I don't know. Isn't Beat Red a BEET? This is BEAT.
Oh.
So that means we abuse Toyotas.
Yep.
That's true. That's not far off. I won't argue with that. Oh, man.
But the A and the S are pretty cless to each other on a keyboard.
They are. And it's a Jeep owner that did it. So I would expect nothing less than a lot of typos. Yeah. So the last one today, actually, let's do two more, is helping the economy. It says, best Toyota podcast. I literally only listen when my husband is in charge of the radio and when the wives are doing the takeovers.
Nice.
Needless to say, I always enjoy Tyler and Jimmy butchering my name every time. Who is that?
Is it Yanni Smith?
Yanni Smith? Maybe? I don't know who that would be now. I want to know who it is. Butchering her name every time.
I mean, we don't talk about many ladies that often. All right, look at this.
Yeah.
I've gone through our stats because I just updated our media kit. Mm-hmm. We are 99.2% male. 0.8% female.
Nice. That's good stuff.
So she's a point.
We're good. She's one of the minority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's definitely the 1 in 0.1 in 100 or whatever.
I don't know who that is now.
I don't know.
I'm curious.
I'm going with Mrs. Smith.
All right. The next one and last one for today is from Venom J Dub. It says,
I don't know.
I don't either.
Not yet.
Not yet. It says, I like this stuff. Yes, I'm all for getting as much education in regards to Second Amendment as you can. The only advice I may have, do you not get stuck with one trainer? Advice I may have is to not get stuck with one trainer and get as much training as you can. Do you have a Second Amendment? Do you have a Second Amendment right, but it's your duty to spend the money to be well trained before considering using it for defense. About Winter Fun Fest. Been a listener for a while and I enjoy your stuff. Cheers.
Same review.
That's all the same review. Yep.
Oh.
So thank you, Mr. Venom J-Dub, for writing in.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's all the ones we're going to do today.
Sounds good. He's reading another one right now, though.
I have no clue who this is. We'll leave that one for next time. So that's all the reviews for today. We're at 459. So you guys there's only 41 more slots to get in before we do the giveaway for the winch.
Nice.
So make sure you guys do everything you can to get yourselves one of those slots.
Yep. Get a slot, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Find your slots and get in there before the 500.
Sounds good. Well, shall we do a Rubicon update real quick before we get into what the hell I've been up to episode?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Just so people are aware of what's going on. You know, obviously the off-road industry struggles a bit here to do like government lobbying, right? And really fight for our trails, because that's not what we want to spend our time doing. We want to go spend our time enjoying the trails. And a lot of us don't really understand government. We don't want to understand government. A lot of the off-road industry doesn't like government overall in general. We don't want to be controlled. We just want to go out and enjoy the things we want to enjoy. And unfortunately, the things that we would like to enjoy are things that people in government positions just don't really understand why we enjoy them.
Right? Yes, I can agree with that.
And so this whole situation, I'm reading between the lines, hearing from all the different information sources coming in about what happened on December 30th with the latest Rubicon trail closure. Which was a completely illegal trail closure. El Dorado County actually does not have any jurisdiction to close the trail itself. They have jurisdiction to close the roads leading up to the trail.
Correct.
But they cannot close the trail itself.
Right.
And so by closing the trail itself, when
even
Parks and Rec,
the state of emergency that they were granted power to?
Even in the state of emergency, they cannot close the trail itself.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So the RS-2477 rights keep that from happening. So it's part of the RS-2477 stuff. So anyways, what's really interesting is that I truly do believe that Parks and Rec, when they closed the trail on December 30th, they really did have the best interest at heart. They wanted to do it for public safety. There's massive storms coming in. They got scared from the Wentworth Springs extraction. And they didn't want to see that potentially happen again.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I agree. To a point, I do agree. Like there were some big ass storms coming in, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that should not go up in those storms.
Correct.
But there's also quite a few people that can go up in those storms and they can handle it just fine.
Yes.
And for
fewer than probably would.
Yes. Fewer than would go up there. And it's one of those things like, where do you bubble wrap? Where do you find the limit on bubble wrapping a society? Mm-hmm. Right.
Didn't they say it? They don't want to be a controlling county or something like that. They don't want to be
They didn't want to be a nanny county is how they said it. Yeah.
That's exactly what they said.
And this is kind of one of the big arguments about California in general, is that California seems to keep moving more and more and more further into being a quote unquote nanny state that creates rules to help control public safety.
Yeah. They seem to create rules, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This is all me. Mm-hmm. They create rules for the 1%, not for the 90%.
100%. Yep. So and it's rough. Like, where do you draw the line between public safety and freedom of being in control of your own decisions and your own risk assessments for your own life? You know, where do you draw that line? And so I really, honestly, truly think that Parks and Rec was trying to do the right thing. They just completely did it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of that happened because they don't understand what we do.
Sure. I think that they had good intentions and they went about it the wrong way. And my issue is that they went about it the wrong way in notifying the public.
That too, 100% that too as well. Yeah.
I think if they would have notified us a different way instead of just being like, it's closed and we don't know when it's going to open again.
Yeah, right.
They would have gotten a better okayed, basic, fine, whatever response.
Yeah.
If they would have literally said, we're scared, there's some big storms coming and we are scared, we're going to shut the trail down for a few days until these storms pass. Mm-hmm. I think most people have been like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I think or close down access to the storms. We're going to close down the roads from here to here just because we're really concerned about these storms coming in.
Right.
And we really want people to stay home. Right. We're not going to have the resources to come and rescue you. We're not going to have the resources to do this. Mm-hmm. We're really worried about it. And yeah, I think most people would be, 100%. We agree.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I think there's the 1% of us are going to be like, bummer. It would have been a lot of fun to go out wheeling in the blizzard out there somewhere and have some fun in the snow. Mm-hmm. But the rest of society would have been like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They went about it the wrong way. They did it incorrectly. And that's kind of what is coming down to be a big problem of this all, is that they're not communicating with the users and the stakeholders and the enthusiasts that actually use this trail. The enthusiasts and users that have passion for this off-roading hobby that we do. And the people in control in the government agencies right now, they're not really off-roaders.
They're not at all.
They're not. Yeah. And so they don't get the mentality. They don't get the drive and the passion for doing what we do. They may have underwater basket weaving. And I'm like, I don't fucking get that. There's no draw to that for me, but yeah, if you want to go do it, I'll go do it. If that's what brings you happiness, go recreate doing underwater basket weaving.
That's what makes the wood soft.
Exactly. So it's easier to weave.
Yeah.
Perfect. But like, they don't understand it. And if they're not understanding what we're doing, then should they really have power and authority to just pull carte blanche and do whatever they think is the right thing when they're not understanding the constituents that they're serving in the first place?
Yeah, that's a great question.
It's a good question, right?
Yeah.
And I
think they should consult with somebody or some people that would have a stake in it. Mm-hmm. But I also think that they did, to some extent, try to do that by talking to DOT. I
agree. I think that they tried to do that by talking to DOT too,
and because their view of the Rubicon Trail is not what it is, they view it as a county road.
Yeah.
which it's not.
Yeah.
Well, it's a non-maintained county road.
Yeah.
So they consulted with a group that supposedly oversees the Rubicon
Mm-hmm.
and asked their opinion about the trail.
Yeah.
But they didn't ask anybody else.
No.
They asked a person that
who also does not understand
that does not also understand the trail. And they had people in that room that understand the trail
very well
and the law, the rules, and they wouldn't listen.
Yep. 100%. So that's kind of what the big problem we're all kind of seeing come down to. And in the past, that kind of a quote unquote advisory board, for lack of a better term, the advisory role had fallen under Rubicon Trail Foundation and Friends of the Rubicon in the past. They've always had a pretty good relationship with the county, and the county and RTF and FOTR work together pretty well. Something happened along the way. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it happened. I don't know why it happened, but something happened that was a crux, a critical point where RTF and the county just all of a sudden stopped working together. And the relation,
I have an idea, but I'll tell you off air.
I have a few ideas and I've heard some rumors, but I've never gotten anything confirmed or heard like the exact reason why from a very credible source, from somebody who was involved with whatever happened. Mm-hmm. But regardless, they stopped working and the relationship has gone kind of toxic between those two entities now. And so now that it's gone a little bit toxic, the county is not talking with user groups at all and not consulting with user groups and making sure that decisions they're making are good decisions for the constituents that they're serving, which just means they're kind of doing things willy-nilly whenever they kind of want to, how they want to. And they're not following law. They're not following protocol. They're not following management usage of the trail. They're not following all that stuff. Right. So the question is now begged, how do you legally force a government agency to listen to the constituents of whatever they're serving in order to ensure that stuff like this doesn't happen again, or at bare minimum, open communication is going on?
Right.
Because there used to be a verbal agreement between RTF and the county to always work together, but that seems like that doesn't happen anymore at all. And so obviously a verbal agreement is not going to work.
Right.
We need to find some sort of legal mechanism that will force these different entities involved with the trail. And there's a lot of entities involved with the trail.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the difficult things about the Rubicon is, there's El Dorado County and Placer County that the trail runs through, and El Dorado National Forest and Tahoe National Forest that the trail runs through. And within the county, to maintain it, because a large chunk of the trail is an RS 2477 road, you have the El Dorado County Department of Transportation that has a say in the trail. And you have Parks and Rec that has a say in the trail as well. So there's all these different...
There's private landowners.
There's private property owners. I mean, there's a lot of people who have a large say in the trail. There's businesses. Dave McKinney, Rubicon Trail Adventures, Jeepers Jamboree, JJ USA.
Yep.
There's a lot of businesses that depend on this trail as well. So there's a lot of people who have a stake in what happens on this with the Rubicon Trail.
Right. So what would people do to move forward? How do they get all these groups together, or do they relinquish some of their power to another entity?
That's a great question, right?
Where do they go from there?
And no one's going to want to relinquish their power over the trail to another entity.
Yeah.
It never seems to happen.
No.
So
that's why you come upon some gates and there's 30 locks on them.
Exactly. Yes. So there's a movement going on right now, and this is the new information, right? I went to what did they call it? The Rubicon Trail Enthusiast Coalition meeting, Enthusiast Committee, Coalition good. Committee. That's what a collaborative committee. That's what it is. Rubicon Trail Collaborative Committee. The RTCC just happened yesterday. We're recording on a Tuesday. Meeting happened a Monday. And there's some interesting ideas coming about.
This was the meeting that we discussed in a previous podcast that was happening at the Cal 4-Wheel convention center. Office. Thank you. And, it was just a bunch of enthusiasts for the Rubicon Trail coming together to give ideas and talk about the trail and try to come up with a a scope of what the importance of the trail is? Is that a general
kind of? It's
overview?
What the importance of the trail is, and how to move forward to ensure that enthusiasts are included in the decision making of the trail.
Got it.
Because there's an interesting organization out there that is heavily involved with decision making of their trails. Every government entity that works with them bends over backwards to make sure that the enthusiasts get what they want.
Yeah.
And it's called the Pacific Crest Trail.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking you might've been talking about not Sierra Trek, Sierra. What's the one that closes down all the off-road trails? The one that REI donates all their money to.
Sierra Club.
Sierra Club.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sierra Club is heavily invested in the PCT as well.
Correct. Yes.
So,
and how much money does the PCT bring in for
like economies to all the different places? Not much, because there's not a whole lot of mountain towns and everybody's hiking between them. They're not like destination towns.
It brings in some money to the post office.
Maybe. Yeah. Right. All the shipments.
Shipping food places
and new shoes. And yeah.
Anyway, I mean, most of these people are very outfitted, very lightly, traveling, in a moderate pace, and trying to get through somewhere as easily as possible, and not going out to recreate and have fun and relax and go camping and chill and, I don't know.
I mean, it's their form of recreation. It's how they recreate.
I can't imagine. And I love backpacking. Don't get me wrong, but I can't imagine that they're looking at the monetary side of the PCT anywhere compared to the monetary side of the Rubicon.
I would venture to say that the Rubicon Trail brings in more money annually than the entire Pacific Crest Trail.
Yeah.
From the northern boundary of up near Canada to Mexico.
Yeah.
Every town along that, I would venture to say that the Rubicon Trail brings more money than that entire PCT.
I bet I would be willing to go as far as probably one good summer month.
Like July alone
brings in more money to the county than
the PCT does annually. That would be really interesting to find out. I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
Right. But this isn't a money podcast. This isn't a money issue.
No, it's not.
It's not. I just brought it up because if they're bending over backwards for something that's not bringing in money, I mean, that's really what counties they care about.
Yep.
What money's coming in.
Yep.
How are we making money?
Yep.
How are we staying alive? Right. So, all right. Sorry.
That's a good point though. Cause like just for a case evidence, right? There was some snowmobile routes. I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast though. Stanislaus National Forest had some snowmobile routes that the Pacific Crest Trail Association wanted moved because the snowmobiles ran across the Pacific Crest Trail.
Yes.
And then the PCTA thought that it was dangerous for the hikers to have snowmobiles going across their trail.
Right.
And I'm like, who's going to be hiking the PCT under 20 feet of snow in the wintertime?
If anybody, almost nobody.
Yeah, right.
Maybe there's one dude who's super late for his arrival time.
Maybe.
And he really wants to make it. Or maybe there's a few gung-ho, like I want to do it the worst case scenario times.
And I could see that. I mean,
but the thing is, okay, now we're 1%ing it.
Yep, exactly. And so the proposition of the PCTA, and this is something I just learned recently, because I knew that that Stanislaus had been like, okay, yeah, let's move the snowmobile routes, but I didn't know where they moved them to. The PCTA suggested that the snowmobile routes get moved to a high avalanche risk area.
Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah. So what is it? Sierra Avalanche Industries? Sierra Avalanche something came in, did an avalanche risk assessment of the area and gave it to Stanislaus National Forest and said, yeah, this is a high risk avalanche area and you want this is where you're going to put the snowmobile trails. Not smart. Not cool. Not a good idea.
Right.
Guess where Stanislaus National Forest moved the trails to? The snowmobile trails to?
That spot?
Right in the middle of the avalanche area. Yep. So now that all the snowmobile clubs up in Stanislaus National Forest are pissed about it and they're threatening to sue, and I think they are taking legal action against Stanislaus National Forest. And Stanislaus is now backpedaling and be like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I didn't know. Let's all come back to the table and work to fix this and pick a new spot. And the snowmobilers are like, no, fuck you. You're bending over backwards for the PCTA. to get them to work with the less than 1% of people that want to go hike the PCTA in blizzard conditions.
Oh, in snow.
In snow.
Just not even blizzard conditions.
Yeah, just in snow. I'm like,
how many people are really out hiking the PCT? For those that don't know what the PCT is, if you're not a big backpacker, this is the Pacific Crest Trail. The Pacific Crest Trail goes from Mexico to Canada, pretty much along the Sierra Nevada mountains all the way, one way or the other, depending on which way you want to go.
Yep.
But who's really hiking or adamant about hiking that trail during the winter?
I could see maybe a handful of people, five people. I'm like, there's people. I'm the stupid one that wants to go wheeling in blizzards, right?
Sure.
I'm sure there's somebody that wants to go hiking the PCT in the snow.
I'm going to backpedal a little. I've been looking at this as the complete trail.
Okay. Yeah.
But there are, and I'm talking about the PCT. There are people who just want to go out and go hiking.
Do the sections.
Just go hiking and they will hike a section or along the PCT.
Yeah.
So there might be somebody who wants just to go out on a day trip and go snowshoeing and might be hiking there.
Yeah. I think that's totally legit. However, they need to not be trying to destroy everybody else's recreation.
I agree.
But
there's right up at Donner, right across from Boreal, up at Castle Peak, which there's millions of Castle Peaks, but there's the Castle Peak here. The start of the trail to go up to Castle Peak, you are walking the same trail as snowmobilers.
Okay.
Right here. And then at some point the trail V's and it's a snowmobile rec area to the left and hikers go up to the right.
Yeah.
But you're in the same area.
Yeah.
You're walking the same trail. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing.
It's been that way for years. I don't know why it's a concern.
I don't know. That's the PCTA, right? And that's how much power the PCTA has.
Yeah.
And they have that power along the entire trail. Every government agency bends over backwards for them. And so how does that trail, that recreation trail, get its constituents, its user groups to have that much power?
I don't have.
And how do we get that?
Yeah.
Why are we treated differently than the PCTA?
I think we need to infiltrate.
We're working on it. So, so that's what this meeting was about, is how do we need to come up with some ideas to make ourselves as powerful, maybe as threatening if we need to.
What are they even threatening? I mean,
they're not, I don't even know if they're threatening legal action is what they're threatening.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, then we'll come after you legally.
Yeah. And the government agencies are like, oh, we don't want to deal with lawsuits. And so they back down. But like off-roaders, we're too, I don't want to say lazy, but we don't want to get into lawsuits. We don't want to spend our time on that. We want to go out wheeling. And so we don't threaten with lawsuits a lot. We don't get offensive, in my opinion. We are always playing defensive. And so that's kind of what this meeting was about, is how do we get to that point of making our voices just as strong as the PCTA voices?
Okay.
And there were some good ideas that came out.
Cool. Good.
So one of them is an MOU. It's a memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
It's a written agreement between any number of entities, and it's a legal binding contract. And you can make an agreement on an MOU about anything.
Yes.
And so the first idea that came up was the PCTA does an MOU with all of the government agencies, and that's how they do it. And the MOU, because it's a legal binding contract, if the government agencies don't do what the PCTA wants, they threaten legal action via the MOU.
I wonder what their MOU states then.
That's a good question, right? And I don't know if we have public record of that or what, if that is available or not. But
right.
So that's one idea.
At some point you're like, but that's not even in your MOU.
Yeah.
You can't threaten me. That's not even like, like, oh, every hiker is allowed to hike naked. Well, that doesn't matter. It's not in the MOU.
Yeah. Right. So that's one kind of legal vessel that the Rubicon Trail users are looking at in order to help give us a legal standing voice at the decision table for the trail. Another one is what's called a JPA, which is a joint power of authority. And a JPA, what's different from a JPA, one of the things that's different from a JPA and an MOU is that a JPA is actually a legal entity.
Oh.
Like BART. BART in the Bay Area is a JPA.
Okay. Bay Area Rapid Transit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Bay Area Rapid Transit. They are a legal standing entity that coordinates all the different properties that BART runs through in order to make sure that the property that BART runs over, BART can manage it.
Oh, interesting.
Right? And so if there was a JPA created for the Rubicon Trail, then it would be a legal binding entity that can
at the table
that would have managing control over the trail.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like an MOU, but the next step up. It's going to have more teeth.
Okay.
For enforcement and making sure that what the users want to happen is going to happen. The problem with the JPA is that legal agencies, so government agencies currently, a JPA is a pretty serious thing. And to get them to sign off and agree on giving jurisdictional control over the trail, again, we go back to who's going to give up their power over the Rubicon Trail.
Right. Well, what's interesting is though that El Dorado County doesn't have any real power over the trail, but was able to put power onto the trail.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
So, I mean, they don't have any teeth in the game or any skin in the game or whatever, any cats and dogs and balls in the yard.
Okay. Yeah.
But they were able to put their foot in the door and be able to do something about it. So you're probably going to get some push. What would be interesting is you're probably going to get some pushback from El Dorado County, even though they don't have any authority to do so.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting to see if a JPA ends up being the vessel the users use to accomplish this, how the government agencies respond to it.
How they go about it.
Because making a JPA is a pretty serious thing. Doing an MOU is a little less serious, but it requires everybody to agree to it in the first place.
Sure.
So you've got to convince everybody to agree.
Yeah. And and I don't know if you guys you might have discussed this, but maybe the baby step aspect to this is let's do an MOU with the thought of going to a JPA
in the future, see how it goes.
Yeah. And put that on the table. Like we're going to start here for X amount of years, but our goal is to be at a JPA in X plus 10 years.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to think about it for sure. The problem with an MOU that I'm concerned about personally, and I've been told should be a non-concern, but I'm still concerned about it. In order to do an MOU, the state has to be involved and sign off on it too. So now we're getting more entities involved, government agencies who don't understand what we do. Because the trail technically goes through El Dorado County and Tahoe and Placer County. Sorry.
Sure.
Because it goes through both of them, the governing board that governs both of those counties is the state. So the state has to be involved with it too.
I wonder what state agency. Because if it's Parks and Rec.
Right. State Parks has been doing some awesome stuff for off-roading.
They have.
The OHMVR Commission could also be another one. I think that they're talking about have to be the state entity involved. And the OHMVR Commission hasn't proven yet to be everything that we are hoping it can be for the off-roading in community.
Right.
It's definitely an awesome start because it's a permanent funding position for off-road recreation in California, which is awesome. We've never had that before 2018. So the OHMVR Commission is still in its complete infancy stage. And I think everyone's still trying to figure out what role it plays, where it fits into the grand scheme of things. But
it'd be interesting to approach it as that and ask if they would help out.
And that's the fun thing about this. Roger Salazar, who's in the, not Posse, they're in the Sierra Treasure Hunters.
Yeah.
He is one of the commissioners on the OHMVR Commission.
Ooh.
And it's him and Amy Granite from Corva that put together these ideas and are coming and bringing everyone together into one room to finally talk about how do we get a permanent spot for users of the trail.
Okay.
So Roger is very involved with this.
Okay.
And I think Roger's a great dude. He's probably out of everybody on the OHMVR Commission, I think he's the only person that actually wheels the Rubicon. And so him being involved on the OHMVR Commission Definitely. Like, I think if we could make the state entity be the OHMVR commission, as long as he's still involved with it, is a great deal. But seats in government change all the time.
Sure.
And so we would have to ensure that somebody that understands the Rubicon Trail stays in the OHMVR commission. And that just comes through the same way all lobbying groups work, is getting people in government positions that have the same interests as you.
I know a lobbyist. We can work on this.
Yeah. Right.
He's actually lobbying for hydrogen fuel technology right now.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. I've talked to him a little bit about it.
Yeah.
He was my goalie in water polo at junior high.
Nice.
Not junior high, junior college.
Mm-hmm. So like if we can get, the government agency for the state of California in the MOU to be the OHMVR commission, and we can keep somebody on the seat of the OHMVR, one of the commissioners who is somebody who wheels the Rubicon regularly and understands about that trail and what's going on out there, then I'm okay with it. I worry though that we won't always have that person in the commission. I
might shoot myself in the foot here.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm going to say it. I don't know if we absolutely need somebody that's 100% a wheeler of the Rubicon, but I think we do need an off-roader wheeler in a seat, at a seat at that table.
100%.
Right? I think minimum. Anybody that is a 4x4 off-road enthusiast will voice that their off-road opinion for the Rubicon. I don't think they have to be a specific wheeler of the Rubicon.
See, I think that
helps.
I don't know. I think that if we're going to move forward with an MOU for the Rubicon Trail, I think we need to have somebody on the OHMVR commission that is a Rubicon wheeler.
Then why don't, mm-hmm. It probably doesn't work this way, but they should just have a seat for somebody that the president of Friends of the Rubicon or Rubicon Trail the president of Rubicon Trail Foundation, mm-hmm. or whatever it is, mm-hmm. that person then should be at that table.
I agree. If it could be worded and understood that, if you're getting a spot on the MOU board, then you automatically somehow get a spot onto the OHMVR commission board at 2. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that can be done. If that can be done, that would be
because like you were saying, government rotates mm-hmm. all the time, mm-hmm. but so do the presidents of these organizations.
True.
And I think that the president of these organizations are probably the better people that are mm-hmm. big advocates for the trail. Yeah. Those people need to be put into this position.
I agree.
Voluntold.
So we would need to, yeah,
I'm telling you.
And so we would need to figure out how to do that, how to accomplish that. Right. Because my worry is if we let the state get involved, with the state becoming more and more of a quote unquote nanny state. And if we don't have somebody fighting and that truly understands the trail in the OHMVR commission, then I'm worried about an MOU. And, one of the seats at the table would be the state. And that just gives another seat at the table of people that don't understand what we're doing.
Sure.
So that's my big worry about the MOU. Another interesting idea that actually the secretary came up with, because she deals a lot with city councils in one of her old previous jobs.
Did you drag her along?
No. I just told her about it afterwards.
Oh.
So she has done a lot of lobbying is not the right word because they're not legally allowed to lobby. Right. But she was pretty much a lobbyist for a few years. And she said that you can do an advisory board.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, tell me more. I don't know about an advisory board. And so she said that there are official advisory boards that are essentially a verbal.
Isn't that what the El Dorado County people are?
That's a board of supervisors.
Oh,
not necessarily an advisory board.
They need an advisory board.
Exactly. They need an advisory board set up specifically for the trail. Turns out there used to be a Rubicon Trail advisory board.
Oh,
it was called the Rubicon Oversight Committee, the ROC.
I like it.
Right. I thought it was a great anagram. And so the ROC used to be an advisory board, and it's kind of always, it was treated as an as needed ad hoc thing. If the county had questions about what's going on in the trail, they need answers about it. The ROC would pop up and appear, Dwayne Johnson, and the ROC, this committee would pop up and appear, and they'd get together and they would sit down in monthly meetings with the county to hash out ideas and communications about what's going on with the trail. Somehow that's not around anymore. And I'm like,
for some reason,
it's not around. I don't know what happened. Supposedly there was a another critical point that happened with The Rock, and it disbanded and never came back. But
they all didn't see eye to eye.
I don't know what it was again.
Yeah.
So there's an advisory board thing that you can do as well. And I was like, thinking in my head, I was like, well, that's really what Rubicon Trail Foundation should be, in my opinion. They should have and maintain good relationships with the county to make sure that the user groups of the trail have a seat and a say in, what happens with the trail.
Yeah.
And since that's not there anymore, I don't know if an advisory board if you could come up with an official advisory board, if it would work or not. Because if the county isn't listening to the RTF now in the first place and not working with RTF, they're not working together. Is it going to be any different with an advisory board? Because I don't think you're legally obligated to listen to an advisory board. But the thing is that in public interest, if you don't listen to an advisory board, you look pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So,
well, I wonder if there's a combo of an advisory board / MOU,
right?
Something that's not quite as official as an MOU, but they need to, maybe it's just written into the rules or whatever that before a trail closure happens, you need to discuss that with these agencies or these groups.
Mm-hmm. And it may be as easy as putting that into making an addendum to the resolution from 2013.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm kind of curious to see where this all goes, because there's positives and negatives to each option, but I don't even think we've got all the options yet.
No, I'm sure we don't.
So I wanted to bring this up on the podcast, A, to update everybody on what's going on with the trail, but B, I'm curious if there's anybody else out there that knows of any other options for something that would help solve and fix how to get users into what happens with the say in the management of the trail.
Yeah. That is one of the big benefits of having a podcast and sort of crowdsourcing
100%
this. And if you guys have ideas on better ways than what we've talked about today, please write in and message us. You can do that at Jimmy or Tyler at snailtrail4x4.com.
Yeah. I may give Ben a call over at Blue Ribbon too. That just popped into my head, to give him a call.
Just send him this episode.
I know. Her and him and Amy Granite are buddies.
Yeah.
And they work together on quite a few things. So I don't know if he would have anything different to say than Amy. I don't think that Amy doesn't know what she's talking about. I just want to know all the options.
Sure.
And that's just the way that I do things.
Yeah.
So
I understand. That makes sense. I do think I'm sure there's a way out there that it would work. It's what is the best option that would make that happen. And that's what we're really trying to figure out right now. Yeah.
So, cool stuff, man. Yeah. That's the update on the Rubicon and how that meeting went and where things are kind of looking at moving forward. So
yeah. And it's currently open. So, and buried in snow.
Yep.
So go have fun.
Yep. Go have some fun up on the trail. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I've got a few things to discuss.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of things that I've been up to in the last week.
Yeah, because I've been gone. I haven't talked to you at all.
Yeah, you've been gone. You've been down at King of the Hammers, and we're going to talk about your week on Monday and what you've been up to down at King of the Hammers. But I wanted to give an update on the radio, which I told you about off air, but I didn't tell the listeners, is that I was having an issue with my speaker and the channels one channel being loud and the other channel being quieter. And really what it came down to is my speaker is a mono channel speaker.
Okay.
And it needs to be a stereo.
Okay.
And so I bought an adapter offline off of Amazon that takes the stereo output and turns it into pretty much two monos.
Yeah.
And then runs it to the speaker. Well, that worked great.
Nice.
Except it doesn't stay in place.
The adapter doesn't? It falls out?
It doesn't fall out. It just isn't tight enough. It needs to be compressed more. I'm halfway tempted to wrap a big zip tie around the whole thing to help it stay into place.
So it's not deep enough in the hole.
Yeah. So actually it made it worse.
Okay.
It's quiet now on both channels.
Oh, jeez.
And it barely comes through. So I took that out.
Okay.
And another listener wrote me and said, an adapter came in the box. You should be able to get one.
Oh,
it came with one. And in the Yaesu
box.
In the Yaesu box for the radio box.
Okay.
And I have not looked in the box yet to check if I still have it. So
okay.
I still need to do that.
Okay.
Let's see.
Don't you have another FT400 sitting around that you haven't installed yet?
Yes. So if I don't have it in that, if I kept the box, which I don't even know if I kept the box, I'm going to dig into the other one.
Gotcha.
And pull that out.
Nice. Okay.
Let's see. Starter update.
Yeah.
So I thought I had a bad starter. We replaced the starter. Then I thought, well, that didn't solve the problem. So I replaced the battery. And we were wheeling out at Winter Fun Fest and I was having problems. So I went through the ground wires and I only visually inspected them. I took them apart. I cleaned the terminals. I looked at them and they look great. They look fine.
Interesting.
I'm assuming at some point I know I've updated some of those wires. I've fixed some of those wires. Right. And there is a new wire, a power wire that goes to the starter and the ground wires look bigger and beefier than I think what stock is. So I've had this truck for so long that I can't, some of these things I don't remember if I've ever done. So at this time, I'm writing ground wires off. So the other suggestion to me was the electronic connection behind the tumbler.
Okay.
And so I started doing a little digging into that. And I was talking with you, like on a previous podcast, you were talking about relays and all these other relays. So I started digging into that on the internet and I found that some Toyotas have the issue with the relay, but my truck does not fall into that category. Oh, my truck it has a separate relay.
Oh, interesting.
For that section. And it's not a full voltage that runs through the whole center console or dash, excuse me.
Yeah.
So through doing that research, there was a how-to of how to tear your relay apart and see if it's getting full connection because it needs a solid 12 volts to start turning the starter.
Okay.
And so I opened the relay up and I've got corrosion in between where the starter or the relay would come together.
The gate that comes in.
Exactly. The gate that comes together.
Okay.
And so I got some 800 grit sandpaper and folded it in half and stuck it in between the relay and sanded it back and forth for a little while and then stuck it back in the truck. And I've started it a handful of times and every time it started fine. So I cleaned the connection. Yeah. I think it's now getting 12 volts where it was probably getting less at the time. I haven't driven the rig for an extended period of time and gotten things hot. I've just sort of sat there and kerchunked the engine a series of times.
Good use of a radio terminology, buddy.
No problem. And just, did a few quick starts, let it sit for a while, came back, did it, didn't even turn the engine over, just turned it to see if it would start to turn. And every time that I've done it, it's done that. Okay. So
it only happens when you're wheeling though.
Kind of.
So we need to go wheeling.
Yes. Well, I'm going wheeling this weekend.
Oh, what?
Yep.
When are you going wheeling?
Yeah, I'm going.
Thanks for the invite.
I'm going snow wheeling.
Jerk.
I got in.
You're going snow wheeling without me?
So if Liam is listening, we're not going to Death Valley. I was supposed to go to Death Valley with my buddy Joe. Joe is still wrapped up in doing the cabin and finishing the deck. And so I was like, are we doing this? What's going on? He's like, no, I really need to finish the cabin. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still going out. I'm still going. And he's like, okay. So then I got a call from my cousins and they have sort of private property around Lake Pillsbury, which is a few hours north of Santa Rosa.
Okay. Yep.
And they are going out there for the weekend to go camping. And he extended the invite to me.
Nice.
And he said, some of the guys that go out there have some big trucks and like to go out snow wheeling. Nice. And he's like, so if you wanted to bring your truck, please do. And so I'm like, sweet, I'm in.
Nice.
So we're going out to Lake Pillsbury for the weekend, which is roughly a 3.5 hour trip out to the lake. And then we'll probably do some snow wheeling on one of the days. Otherwise, hanging out, relaxing. We don't have the kiddo. We're just going to be lazy.
Nice.
So yeah.
Cool.
So hopefully, we'll find out if how well the truck does on this trip. and if I've solved the problem or not.
Okay.
So that, yeah.
Nice.
But hopefully that sanding and better connection.
I'll say if you had corrosion on the gate of the relay, that 100% could have been it. I mean, that's a big indicator. Like, yeah, you need a good solid electrical connection on those to make it work. So,
yep. I'm still waiting for it to possibly fail. And then, the question that another person brought up is, when it does fail, have you tried to use the clutch release button? And see if that will bypass the problem.
Interesting. Okay.
And I've not tried that. So I want, if it does happen, which fingers crossed it doesn't. Yeah. But when it does happen, I'm going to try that and see if that happens to solve the problem. Nice. I don't know if it would, if it will, what it has to do, but I think it will bypass something along in the connections in line. So we'll see if what that does. Okay. The only other thing I really have on my list, I got 2 more things on the list, actually. The house, just a little update on the house. I ended up ripping off one of the 4 areas of popcorn ceiling, and it sucks. The previous owners painted the popcorn ceiling. Oh, geez. And so the easy way to get the popcorn ceiling off is more or less squirt it down with water. And then you just get like this massive putty knife on like a broom handle and you just scrape it off and it lops off. Well, when it's painted, it doesn't do that. The water doesn't absorb and it just does not. And it's tough and stuck together and hard to get off. So we figured out a little plan. What we do is we like knock it down. We like drag the putty knife backwards the wrong way, kind of against it, knocking off all the tops of the popcorn ceiling and all this crud falls down pretty much on you. And then we wet it down and then we take a break for like 10 to 15 minutes, let that soak in and up. And then we wet it down again. And then we start scraping it off. And that after doing all that, it came off pretty easy. Okay. But so we did the front room. We still have the hallway, a stairwell, and a closet to do. And I think the closet hasn't been painted, and maybe the stairwell hasn't been painted, but the hallway definitely has been painted. So yeah, so that's fun.
Have you thought about
hiring somebody?
No. I was gonna say renting I forget what those are. They're like handheld jackhammers. Oh, and they're designed for like chipping tile or whatever. Yeah. And you just go.
I sort of have one kind of, but it's not that aggressive. You don't need to be that aggressive. Okay. Once we wetted it down at the second, third pass, it came off okay, but I bought a tarp at
things generally work a little bit better when they're wetter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I bought this tarp at Harbor Freight and it's so big. It's so massive. And it was funny to just sort of like, it just kept unfolding. And I was like, I think I bought too big of a tarp, but it's better to have a big tarp than a small tarp. But yeah, we just pretty much dropped everything onto that and then cleaned it up from there. Nice. Yeah. I was wearing like 2 masks and some goggles and had a hoodie on. I was trying to like get the least amount of exposure to this crap as I can. I don't know if it has asbestos in it, but I'm not taking chances.
You didn't make a hazmat suit?
No. Well, I almost did. I almost was hazmated. I think they like parts of my face were I was even wearing gloves. Yeah. So parts of my face was the only thing really exposed. Wow. I had like, cause we were knocking things down off the ceiling. So I had my head covered and stuff. Yeah. So the last one I have here isn't kid friendly so much. We're going to talk about some private parts. Yep. And this is an update for the guys because I had a medical reason that I did not. A medical reason was one of the reasons that I did not go to King the Hammers. Yeah. And this is for the 99.2% of our listeners out there. Yeah. So, guys out there. Guys. Yep. So it's not anything graphic. It's not anything dirty so much, but we're going to be talking about the male private parts. So I'm giving you guys a little second to pause your radio, do whatever, if you don't want your children that are possibly around to listen to this. But if you're a guy, I would highly suggest you pay attention to what I'm going to say here. Yeah. After you told me, I was like, oh yeah, I'm glad you told me. That's something important to look out for. Yeah, definitely. So, a week ago, pretty much, I went in for an ultrasound. Yeah. And it's not my first ultrasound, by the way. I've had another one, I think.
You're pregnant?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They ultrasounded my private parts.
Nice.
Which was kind of a funny experience. And actually, from my first ultrasound, which was about 15 years ago, to now, they have warmed gel.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Okay.
So I got an ultrasound on my testicles. And
nice.
it's a little weird to talk about this, but I really do feel that this is, it's some interesting information that I think guys need to know. And I feel like it's sort of a PSA that needs to be shared out there for gentlemen.
Cool.
I have a cyst in my testicles, and that's the reason I went to go get an ultrasound. They wanted to see kind of what it is, what's going on, and if things are working down there.
Yeah.
But the information I want to tell you guys is that the ultrasound tech told me that she was very happy that I came in, not because I'm attractive and good looking or anything like that, but because she said that if you have this thing called a varicose seal, which is sort of a way that like is a varicose vein, but it creates a knot and kind of blocks off blood flow down in your testicles. If you have a varicose seal to one of your testicles, you have 6 hours before that testicle dies.
Yeah.
So so she was really saying that it's a good thing you came in. It's a good thing you're getting things checked out because of that reason. So really I'm doing the PSA to just sort of let you guys know that if you're having issues down there, do highly consider getting checked.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff that can happen and go wrong. And you have some of them are a limited time to go get checked out. For me, I went 15 years ago, had it checked out. We realized this was an issue. I was told if it gets any larger, please come back and check. Things have grown in 15 years. So I was going back to get checked up. But I thought that the interesting information was from the tech telling me about that. You have 6 hours before you do some damage to your body that you can't come back from. Yeah. So if you've got stuff going on, if something does happen in the future, don't be a man and I can deal with this pain or whatever. No, seriously, just go get checked out. Yeah. So
that's good at PSA. Yeah, man. It's we think very highly of ourselves in that part of our body. Right. So, you know, if something's going on, get it checked, man.
Yeah. And sorry if I crossed a boundary layer of podcasting or personal stuff, but once again, I really do feel that it's sort of important to kind of tell some medical things that I learned.
I'll give $20 to the next person that comes up and sees Jimmy at an off-road event or on the trailer somewhere and asks to see his varicose seal.
I don't have a varicose seal.
Oh, okay. Ask to see your cyst.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, and funny. So I have a cyst in my arm, which anybody can touch.
Really?
Yeah. So if you want to come up and you want to see my cyst, I'm going to show you the one in my arm.
Okay.
But, and I knew about this one 15 years ago because it just was another lump down there. Sort of.
Like, I should only have 2 of those.
I should only have 2 of those. And I got 3. And that's been a joke between me and the assistant for a while. But I found out during the ultrasound that I actually have a cyst on the other side too. So
you have 2 cysts.
I have 2 cysts down there, which they're not damaging. They don't hurt. I think all they do is eventually drain it, and I'll find out here probably in a little bit what they end up doing. I'm going to have a consultation with my doctor again about what to do. So,
nice.
Yeah. But so I don't,
once you get the consultation and kind of go through whatever surgery or whatever you're going to have to go through, you can go chat with Jason and Chris.
Oh yeah.
And start an old man podcast.
Another reason I want to be on the Senior Citizen podcast is like, man, I hit 40, you know, and I got gout. My cyst is growing. Yeah. I'm just falling apart. I go running and my knees hurt for like 3 days. It's just bad.
Have you named it yet?
No, I should though.
You should. He may not be around much longer.
I don't think he's going to be around much longer. I'm going to, Bally's going to be out of here.
Oh man, that's good. No, that's a good PSA. Because I had no clue about a varicose seal. And if you're having issues down there and it ends up being a varicose seal, you're done. Yeah. Or it's done, I should say.
Yeah. Your body can grow pretty quick. And, you know, if you have a blocked vein that's not an artery or anything serious. It's crazy how fast your body will reroute blood. It'll make another vein.
Yeah.
And it can do that pretty quick. But apparently if
not 6 hours quick.
Not 6 hours if you want to save a testicle.
Yeah.
So but it's, just, take care of yourselves, you guys. Yep. So, Jason, Chris, I'll be calling you guys soon.
I like it. So cool, man. Those are some good updates. So what's the timeline currently on the house? Is everything kind of still on your good timeline you guys are planning on?
I have no idea at this point.
Okay.
Did
I'm almost figure out a bathtub.
No. Well, she did. And now we're thinking about rearranging it a little bit. And the bathtub that she picked out originally, I don't think is going to fit to where we want. But the way I describe or told her about I think we should rearrange the bathroom, she agrees. She now just really needs to find a bathtub that she wants.
Yeah. Okay.
But it is going to turn into a little bit more work because I think we're actually there's like a small window in that bathroom. And I think we're actually now going to open that window up and make it a larger window.
Okay.
And now that involves going to the exterior of the house and putting in bigger framing and, whatever braces on the top and stucco work and a whole nother slew of things. But we really haven't had a final version. We don't have a final version of the bathroom yet.
Okay.
And I'm quickly running out of demo things to do. I really have. Let's see. I have some demo to do in the guest bathroom, not the master bathroom, the guest bathroom. We're going to rip up the linoleum. We're going to put tile down. So I'm going to rip up that floor. And then I have the stucco and then
the popcorn ceilings, the rest of them.
Sorry, the popcorn ceilings. I mean, not stucco yet. I mean, I'll maybe get to stucco if we choose to go that route. And then it's like, I can remove some mirrors or lamp fixtures or like
doorknobs, door handles.
Yeah, doorknobs and door handles and change them out with other ones or change some doors from these old school thin doors to some better doors or, it's all these small trivial things after I get through with the floor and the stuck or the popcorn ceilings. I'm really in my mind, I'm at the point of construction. I need to, now I'm at the point of, I need to start building. Yeah.
We need to start planning out getting the build. Yeah. It needs to be planned out. We need to start getting stuff for the build now.
Absolutely. So I've been looking at her going, have you figured out tile? Have you figured out these things? And I think she doesn't want to do it because she doesn't like to do it. Like she's not a fashion designer. She's not she doesn't, the interior design is not something that she likes, but she has a preference in it. So if I went out and I did it, she would tell me no. Yeah. And so I think I'm really at that point where I'm going to just start going, what do you think of this? Yeah. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And then eventually we'll figure it out. Yeah. So that I can then continue to move forward. Yeah. So our goal for the most part is to move in over the summer. Okay. But that's a 2-month window. Yeah. Right. She doesn't want to concern herself with packing during the school session because she's a teacher, right? So my guess is we're not even going to start packing a house until summer starts. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to have slightly more free time than I anticipated having, which is a good thing because we just got something that's in the room right over there. Oh yeah, we did. That we're going to talk about here on a future episode. Yep. Very shortly. Yeah. Well, that'll be exciting. Yeah. If you get to work on that. That's in the other room. Yeah. Well, actually I have, cause what's in the other room isn't going to happen before, Cruise Moab. Yeah. So I have a small list of things that I want to do on Bobcat because I'll be taking Bobcat to Cruise Moab. The primary thing that I want to do is I want to rotate my power steering box. Okay. Yep. And that's a bit of a project. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't sound like a very big project, but what is the big project about it is that I already have frame plates and brackets and things on the frame for how it's mounted now. So it's not just pull this off, drill some new holes, weld it back together and go. I've got to grind off what's previously there, clean that up and then move it forward. Also, the main reason that I want to do that is because my pitman arm, the ball joint on the end of the drag link
Up on the pitman arm?
on the pitman arm collides with my tie rod bar.
Yep.
Right. And so both of the tie rod is now bent.
Okay.
The ball joint on the pitman arm is bad. And the ball joint on my driver's side steering arm is bad. And I think it's because those keep colliding and are forcing them to go in directions and doing things they don't want to do, probably at under tension.
Yeah.
And it's not a very difficult process to replace the tie rod, but that also has my mount for my hydraulic ram on it. So I'm probably just going to buy another rod or another piece of pipe.
Okay.
And then another mount.
Yep.
And that wire is going to be scrap.
Yeah.
So there's a few steps there. I would really like to get my reverse lights working.
Okay.
They don't work. I think I really just need to figure out how to plug the plug in.
Yeah, probably.
Because I think the plug for the W56 and the plug for the 150, what is the R151 are different connections.
I would imagine so.
So I need to just build up an accessory that fits both of those or tie them together one way or another or cut it and make the one plug work with the other or something. I want to get the disc brakes on. And I've had a few people message me different ways to do reverse polarity. With different switches. And I've also reached out to a switch company.
Nice.
To see if they can make a switch.
Okay.
So I can put it on so it'll match all my other switches up there.
Okay.
So that'll be kind of neat. That's one thing we just need to test to see if we can get it to go. I did order a switch off of Amazon. So cool. And it was a few bucks. And if we blow it up, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
But I think that one would be worth a test.
Yeah.
To see if we can do it.
I have one. I also bought one off Amazon. Same thing. It's only like a 20 amp rated switch. So I'm a little concerned about it because supposedly the Willwood harness is fused for 40 amps.
Right.
So I'm like, it may work for a year, but like slowly it's going to burn it out over time. Right. That's my concern, but I'm like, that switch alone should work just fine.
Can't we put a relay on it?
No, because the relay, because it's only two lines into the caliper.
Oh.
So you'd have to, it's a different way. We had a listener link to a double throw switch, reversing polarity switch, momentary switch off eBay.
Yeah.
And that actually looks like should work perfectly.
Oh.
So I ordered that up and it's on its way and it just won't be here until the end of the month.
Okay. Yeah.
However, that looks great and it's rated for winches. So it has more than enough amperage rating to run the system.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for that to come in, but I'm also like, I have the Willwood harness and I really would love to return it and get my $700 back and have something for $50. That works just fine. The thing I need to figure out is if the system needs to know like when the caliper is under full load, under full pressure, squeezing pressure,
or fully released.
That's
what I'm questioning.
Exactly. So how do you know that when engaging or disengaging the caliper?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like,
you just take your foot off the brake and is it holding?
Exactly. That's kind of like, is that what you got to do? And then you just hold it for 30 seconds and hope you don't burn up the motor from overholding it? Or do you time it and say, okay, this is how long it takes to fully engage it?
Yeah.
And then just don't hold it more than that.
You've ran it. Are they loud?
No, you wouldn't be able to hear them from inside.
Dang.
Yeah.
I was hoping you could hear that. And you know, at this point
might be able to, if you like have the door open and the engine off. But like the whole point for me to run them is so I don't have to turn off the engine. I can hop out of the rig.
Yeah. And I think that's where the brains of that system comes in. That's
what I'm wondering because I talked to Willwood, Chris, I believe Eric at Willwood, down at Hammers. And he doesn't even seem to know. And he's like one of the main product guys.
Oh, interesting.
That takes care of a lot of the race teams. And so like, he didn't even know how those worked and what their wiring harness did. So like, I don't know how to figure out.
Yeah. I think the big question is, what is this?
Yeah.
Why do I need it?
Yeah. And when I asked that before, they're like, well, it just runs the caliper. You have to have it to run the caliper. And I'm like, I don't think you have to have it to run the caliper. I want to know why I have to have it.
Yeah.
Like what is it running? What all is the ECM doing? Why do you need a control module with computing power in it to run the caliper.
Yeah.
If it's just reversing polarity, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And nobody can tell me.
I really do think it's a pressure.
That's what I'm wondering.
It senses the pressure that it's putting on the caliper, and it senses when the caliper's loose.
Or it's sensing resistance in the electrical line. The more, or the amperage draw. If the motor is pulling a ton of amperage, it means that it's getting close to being at full pressure. And so it can sense what the amperage draw is and shut off and tell you, oh yeah, you're at full pressure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we can just put a 20 amp fuse in.
Just when it pops.
And when it pops, it's full.
Put a 20 amp breaker in next to the switch on the dashboard. Yeah.
And so then when it pops, you're fully tight.
Yeah.
And then you engage
reset
it
the breaker
to turn it off.
Yeah. I don't know. So I've got to figure out how to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I'm also at the point now where I'm like, is this really worth my time to try and figure out? But now it's like a puzzle to me.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to spend $700 on this extra harness.
Right.
When they didn't tell me you needed it in the first place.
I fully get it. The only one and kind of last thing that that is on my mind right now to do to Bobcat is I want to change out the Pro Comp 63 springs to the Tundra 62.5 springs or whatever they are.
See how they work.
And just, see how they work. And I really had it in my mind that I wanted to do that before this trip coming up. This week just got too full.
Yeah.
I don't really have the time. I was going to do it tomorrow, but that quickly got taken up by podcasting. So
yeah.
Yay.
Podcasting. Well, cool, man.
I think that's it on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of my updates and the update of the Rubicon. So
sweet. You guys will hear my updates on Monday from Hammers and how the week down at Hammers went. So if you guys have any questions, any feedback, any comments about a Bali, then you can call in, write in, do whatever you like. We do have a couple phone calls, voicemails, which we can get to on next Thursday. But yeah, you guys can call in, leave us a voicemail, 916-345-4744. You can always reach out to us on the grams, the Instalandgram land there that Cody likes to call it. Dude, Cody's fucking fireworks show and his fire pillars out there.
Oh yeah.
Nuts.
I saw your photo of how bright that thing was.
Yeah. And I was up like at the other side of the lake bed from where he is.
I know. I bet people halfway between you and him were feeling the heat.
Yeah, probably. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways. So, if you guys want to get in touch with us on Instagram, you can go check out some of the stuff that we do over there. I've got a picture of Cody's fires up on my post on 4x4 Toyota Tyler. Jimmy watches the Snail Trail 4x4 one. He's got a couple fun posts over there about what he's been up to. You can message us on there. We've got emails. We've got the Facebook page where you can reach out and post fun things like the Switch that a listener did that I just got, or I bought and I haven't got yet. There's also I Rate 4x4. So lots of fun ways to get a hold of us. We love hearing from you guys. Make sure you go over and take up one of those ways if you want to talk to us. We love chatting. So Jimmy, do you have any final words for everybody out there to finish up this fun-filled update episode?
How about vasectomy?
You're definitely going over to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey with that, my friends. Keep crawling.
I got one for you.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
So there's James Bond, right?
Oh, okay.
An older, retired, senior citizen James Bond.
Oh, your dad?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where I heard this one from, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And so James Bond goes to the pharmacy, and he's there to pick up his prescription.
Okay.
And he walks up to the window and they go, "Name, please." And he says to the attendant, "It's Bond. I need gold bond."
Okay. Uh-huh.